Hey, it's Denise. And I noticed places are having themes like Formal Friday to encourage you, even if you're working from home, to dress up to give you that feeling of normalcy, to kind of break up that feeling that a lot of us are getting like that. Is it Friday? Is it Saturday? Does it matter? You know, because it's the days are stretching on, and again, I'm a full supporter of everybody stay home because I think it's the only way to get this, as long as you give it people to jump to, you keep it alive. So by keeping yourself out of circulation and not being someone it can jump to and then jump to other people, you're helping to get it out of circulation. Um, with that in mind, though, staying at home is a list of things. It's boring. It's stressful. Um, it's I guess, like the whole cabin fever thing, just, like I would kill to just go wander down a normal grocery store aisle like things used to be, like I don't mean that literally. I know there are people out there who are probably, you know, worried, let's face it, worried about looting or rioting or that kind of thing. Um, let's hope we all remember that we're in this together and that, you know, you can't do that, folks. We cannot do that to one another. We're all trying to get by without exposing each other. No looting, no going in anywhere uninvited. Um, so, what I've decided to do today, because I didn't sleep well last night, I haven't slept well the last few nights. I've been waking up for some reason right around 1 o'clock in the morning. I wake up and then it's hit or miss whether or not I fall back to sleep. I might doze off for a little bit, but then I wake up again at 2 something. And like, I just can't seem to stay asleep. So today I was just feeling kind of like crappy, tired, not sick, no cough, no fever, nothing like that. Um, just kind of like a little run down and overtired. So I decided that for me today was going to be like, there's no day of the week that starts with a D, so it doesn't really, have to be a specific day of the week. I'm having denial day. I think denial day is what's going to work for me. I'm not talking like the larger scale of denial. This is yoga. I'm doing it again. I'm waving something at you. I'm waving at you. S'mores flavored yogurt. That's why it looks like it has little bits of stuff in it, because it has little bits of stuff in it. My spoon looks like a microphone. Okay. So, denial day for me really isn't, like I said, I'm not going to go run out, host a party, and hang around coughing people in a large public crowded place. Not that kind of denial. But I guess maybe I could go with Mindful Monday. Um, what I'm saying is that I'm taking my mindset kind of just out of the big picture for the day. Like I said, not doing anything stupid, but just imagining that it was a day that, for whatever reason, I just happened to be home today and not going anywhere. And I'm going with that. And, oh, I have a day off and I don't have any errands to run. Isn't that nice? And as far as the mindfulness part, it's like, I guess, instead of thinking of any of the more unpleasant, um, restrictive things we might be worrying about in the future, instead of worrying about those things, I'm just reminding myself, like, kind of like how meditation teaches you, like, be in the moment. They mean in that moment, not a moment a week from now, not a moment a year from now. Be in the moment. and see the good things. Uh, for me right now, it's like see the good things in this moment. And okay, I know what's going on out there, but in this moment, I'm sitting in my comfy bed with plenty of blankets, and I've got my wonderful kid downstairs who just got his college application letter in the mail. Very proud mama moment. Been waiting a long time. He's on the computer now, filling stuff out and picking a date for a new student day. I think they're scheduling them in May, and then they'll see if they're able to have them. Or, I mean, I don't think they're scheduling them as a large group type of thing. If they are, obviously, I think that's going to get kicked out. But hey, that's for another day. For today, I got to hear my kid read out loud his acceptance letter. I'm sitting here eating a yummy yogurt. That's good. I like yogurt. I eat it frequently. It can be a little boring, but see, that's looking at the big picture of past experiences, future experiences. Nope, just looking at this moment. And I still like yogurt, so even though I've been eating quite a lot of it, if I'm only thinking about this yogurt and not yesterday's yogurt or tomorrow's yogurt, then this yogurt's good, and I appreciate it more than I would if I was thinking it's one in a line of many yogurts. And hey, there may come a time where it's hard to come by, so appreciate those yogurts while you have them. But yeah, I just am trying to stay in that mindset today of in the moment. If I'm watching a movie, I'm going to try to let myself really get into it and enjoy it. Not letting thoughts or worries keep interfering, because they're not helping. You know, the worrying isn't helpful. If a constructive thought of something that you need to do or, comes to mind, then by all means, yes, we have to act on those. But if it's just worrying, repeating the same worrying thoughts, it's not good for anybody. So I'm taking Denial Day / Mindful Monday, however you want to look at it, and I'm just going to take the day. I did my first thing in the morning. Watched Governor. I'm in New York, as I've mentioned. Watched Governor Cuomo's last briefing, which was, I guess, last night, and just sort of on the state of affairs in the state. But that's it. For the rest of the day, I'm not watching the news. I'm not watching anything related to stressful events. I'll maybe see if any of my favorite YouTubers have anything that I want to watch, as long as it's not related to that. I'll, like I said, probably watch a bunch of movies I wouldn't have otherwise bothered watching. Yesterday I finished an entire audiobook. It was like a 10-hour book. So today I think I'll take a break from the audiobooks, unless I really can't find a movie that I want to watch. I feel like my bed is kind of like my life raft today. I don't feel like I'll be leaving it very often. The rest of my house is in disarray, as I'm sure a lot of people's houses are. Okay, you were lucky and you got that giant 24-pack of toilet paper, and now it's sitting in a chair because you don't have room for the giant 24-pack of toilet paper in your bathroom. And you don't have a bathroom closet or a hall closet or a linen closet. Most of the rooms in your house don't have closets, if your apartment is like mine. So places that I would not normally be storing stuff, there's stuff. It's messy. It's, it's not ideal. It's not how you would want. There isn't room to put, I guess, stuff away. Of course, that's going to, as I pointed out to my son, we should be thankful for that problem, because I'm sure it's going to dwindle. Probably more quickly than we would like. You start, look, I got out of the moment and started to project about how long my stuff is going to last. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm thinking about. You know, leaving that stuff out of the moment when when you make the decision to give yourself a be in the moment, mindful sort of break. Can't let that stuff creep in because your head needs a break from it. The dog, by the way, is loving having Patrick home from school all day, every day, because the dog's greatest pleasure in life is staring at Patrick. He sits on the couch at an angle where he can see into Patrick's bedroom and just make sure that he's in there. Yes, he's in there. I can see him. He's in there. So with Patrick home from school, the dog is thrilled. His moments are good. On their last walk, they saw a couple rabbits. And now my beagle, my little Jay, is 14 years old. He's a little old man, and he's deaf at this point. In the past year or so, he lost his hearing. He's otherwise in great health. As per his last vet checkup, he was doing great. She's like, the hearing, there's no infection, there's nothing wrong that could be fixed with his ears. It's age. But he still hops up and down, howls when he gets really excited, and he's not one of those barky beagles, but he's, if something's important to him, like, if he needs to sound the alarm and get our attention, he will make like a little howling noise, and he tips his head back, like you ever see statues of a howling wolf, how its head is always straight up with its nose pointing at the sky. He does the full-on mini wolf thing with the curved mouth making the oh kind of noise, and he weighs 25 pounds and he's turned mostly white, he's, like I said, he's 14 years old, but yeah, he still thinks he's a wolf, and I'm glad. When they were out and saw the rabbits, my son said that, he was putting all 25 pounds of his muscle in there trying to make Patrick chase the rabbits, like, we got to get them. What's wrong with you? Why don't you understand that we need to chase those? So he got to have a little moment of excitement in his day. Rabbits aren't something we see frequently. Wild turkeys, like I've mentioned a couple times, we are surrounded on 3 sides of our house by grazing pasture for horses. And across the street, the third place is a barn, which owns the horses that use the pastures. The same person who owns my apartment building, where I live, my landlord, owns that barn. So essentially the horses from there graze what would be like the backyard and side yard of this property is fenced in, and it's a big pasture for horses. Across the street, I live in a corner. If we're wondering how many across the streets there are, I live right on a corner. So, like, if you looked at my front porch and went straight across the street is another area of land that's fenced in for horses. And if you turn to the right, the other street, you're facing the barn. So, and then, like I said, behind the house, the other directions it's all fenced in for the horses. So if we go out, dog's used to seeing horses, but he is not used to seeing rabbits. I don't really see them. I see chipmunks here a lot. He would love to kill those. I throw peanuts out for them when I can get them. During the winter, I throw peanuts out for them. Hey, they got to eat in the winter too. Right now, I feel like they're on their own pretty much. Not making a trip out to the store to pick up peanuts in the shell. But yeah, that's, hey, the dog had a great mindful walk. We have to think more like them. By which I mean dogs. Yeah, clearly he has no idea. And if it wasn't for the leash, he wouldn't be social distancing. I can tell you that. My dog is very social. But while we're home, let's enjoy every moment as if it's a gift of free time. Uh, if you're not, if you're working from home and you were able to keep your job and work from home, that's great. Um, and think about that. Think about how much better off that makes you than people who just lost their job and aren't able to work from home. So that's something to be grateful for when you catch yourself like, oh, this sucks. Um, if you got your kids with you, and luckily, obviously, mine is a high school senior. Not that he's going to school anywhere except in his bedroom. So, his senior year is happening on the computer. And the way this is looking, if they're talking 18 months out as a prediction for a vaccine, his college career will probably be starting on the computer. But you know what? That's not to worry about when you're in the moment. We can worry about that later. Not that worrying about it will change it. But for those of us who feel the need to plan and make lists, and yes, sometimes I am definitely one of those people, I guess it gives us a sense of control, having feeling like we're planning, But the longer this goes on, I guess is really, really what I'm trying to drive home to people is the longer this goes on, the more it's going to wear on us mentally. We need to stop those unnecessary trips. Hopefully people have already stopped those unnecessary trips anywhere. I think there was a mindset for a while of, well, let me check, Walmart or whatever your local store might be every day to see if I can get my one roll of toilet paper that they're selling, or if I can get my one can of spray cleaner or whatever. And the way I feel about it now is it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. If the time comes that I feel like we're really getting down to the bare bones on those things, then I will have no choice but to go and try to get them that way. But while you have enough in your house to not worry for a while, don't keep making those daily trips just like, oh, I have to build up my stockpile more. I have to build it up more. I have to build. Stop. Stay home. Every time you go out, you could have taken yourself from being a healthy person that got passed over and turned yourself into someone who now has it and is going to spread it to their family. And I'm not saying that to scare people. I'm saying it because it's reality. If you have enough to get by for a while, don't make trips out for just in case I can grab one more, fill in the blank, or, as long as you've got stuff, keep the trips down to a minimum. Don't expose yourself to that environment. And while you're home, do what you got to do, but give yourself these breaks where it's not what all you're thinking about, where you're eating your yogurt or your pretzels or your popcorn or whatever, and watching a movie or listening to a book or playing a board game with your family, and just enjoy that you're doing that thing. Don't think about why you happen to be home doing it on a Monday, if that's not normally a day you'd be home doing it. Try to be in the moment. Try to think of the good things in your life. Be grateful. There are so many people that have it worse. The fact that you have internet right now puts you ahead of a whole lot of people in the world, especially in countries where there isn't freedom of the press and information being suppressed from the people. Just try to find little bits of joy where you can in every day, because that's going to really help your frame of mind if this drags on longer. And I think as we hear the scientists talk, we know it's gonna go on for a while, and we have to get to some degree of acceptance of that. Plant a garden, plant a garden, plant a garden. Start your seeds if you're getting near almost everybody. exception of those of us in the coldest areas, would be able to be putting plants out in another month or so. If you're in the South, certainly, or in a warmer part of the world, you're certainly able to garden. Even if you don't usually garden, do it this year. If there are any supply chain issues with produce, you want to know that you have fresh veggies for your table for you and your family. If you're someone who grows in just container gardening, do that. You can grow a single, like a squash plant, which will put off a bunch of squash. You can grow that in a large container. It doesn't have to be in the ground. Tomato plants can be grown in containers. Pepper plants, all kinds of things. So grow a garden, people. This way, not only will you have for you, but you'll have some to give away. That's how I think of it. If we all would look at it that way, I don't want to just make enough for myself. I want to make enough to help people who need it. Then we should all get through this just fine. We got to look out for each other and not let ourselves fall into a greedy, I'm looking out for number one kind of mindset, which sometimes can happen. Even to the nicest person, you can catch yourself thinking that way. But you have to catch yourself and not start acting that way. Let yourself be someone who's a helper, not someone who's bringing other people down or refusing to help them when you're in a position that you could be helping them. And gardening, like I'll say, till I turn green, gardening is good for the soul. It really is. It makes you feel better. Watching the plants grow reminds you that life goes on, that the seasons change, that this will get better. And while you're doing your gardening, be mindful. Watch those plants. Look at how much they changed just since the day or two before. Some of my little sprouts are starting to come up, and I look at them with a kid's sense of wonder, even though I do it every year. Every year, it's still like, I put that tiny little seed in the ground, and now there's a plant about this big. And yeah, he might be like, yeah, genius, that's how it works. But this genius is still happy to be awed by the fact that nature is going to help us provide for ourselves as long as we're smart enough to do so. Plant a garden in whatever capacity you can. Try, like I said, if you have the room to grow enough, not just for yourself, but so that you can share, do it, because there are going to be people who need help. Anyway, enjoy the little moments of the day with your loved ones, or enjoying activities that, just downtime activities. Be in that moment of enjoying it, not thinking about why you have the free time to enjoy it. And take care of yourself. Be safe. Don't take unnecessary risks. And for God's sake, if you go out in public, cover your face so that you're not one of the people spreading it. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.